Kevin, do you find yourself at all, I mean, are you staying focused at the task at hand, or do you find yourself ever looking over your shoulder and wondering, when are they going to turn this thing over to Shedeur? Does that ever cross your mind?
No, all I can do is control what I can. And, yeah.
You ever watch a team and think there's no way they're actually doing this on purpose? That's Cleveland right now. A slow-motion football disaster so wild it feels scripted. Except nobody in the building is clever enough to write something this dramatic intentionally. And all it took to blow the doors off the entire operation was one tiny moment. One reporter, one harmless question, and one quarterback who suddenly realized the city was quietly planning his exit.
And Jimmy Haslam said during training camp that you knew that seeing both young quarterbacks at some point this season was important. So just where is Shedeur at as far as his development, and do you have a timetable of when you would take a look at him?
Yeah, I don't think it's fair to speculate, Daryl. We're committed to getting better as an offense. Dillon is certainly committing to improving every which way he can, and all the while.
The Browns just walked out of a game they had no business losing. And not to a powerhouse, not to some explosive offense, but to the Jets, a team that put up yardage numbers so embarrassing you'd think the scoreboard was glitching.
You keep on putting Dillon Gabriel out there, and the offense does the same exact thing every single week. Yeah. Nothing changes. Yeah. He has one good quarter a week, and he has 2 good throws a game. Nothing changes. It doesn't. Put Shedeur out there and see what Shedeur does. If anything, like we just talked about Brian Daboll, if Shedeur comes out there and he balls out and he plays lights out, you might not get fired in a couple weeks neither. If you keep on throwing Dillon Gabriel out there, you're going to get fired in a couple weeks.
Cleveland had more yards, more weapons, more chances, and still managed to play worse when it mattered most. The defense is dragging bodies like they're running a demolition derby, while the offense moves like a desktop computer from 2003. And then comes the question, the one everyone's been screaming at their televisions for weeks. Are you considering Shedeur Sanders? The air leaves the room. Dillon Gabriel freezes at the podium, like he just got a notification saying his bank account hit 0. Stefanski throws out some soft, PR-polished answer about development and timelines, but the damage is done. That one question exposed everything the Browns were trying to hide.
Right. Might just be fine. He might be a backup quarterback. He'll never look good.
Well, and nobody's expecting him. Like the expectations with Dillon Gabriel was never really franchise quarterback. But like, if you play poorly today against the Jets, you might effectively play your way into being off this roster in its entirety next year. Like, forget being Colt McCoy and a really smart kid that could be around the organization and that could be a backup for 10 years. Like, all that could go out the window. Like, if you can't look serviceable against this Jets team today.
This wasn't just a loss. It was a collapse of the illusion that things were heading in the right direction. The Jets' offense barely cracked triple digits. Their passing yard total looked like something a toddler would accidentally generate in Madden. And still, Cleveland found a way to lose. It wasn't just a defeat. It was a performance so bad the NFL should have issued a wellness check. While the Browns' defense was breaking bones and breaking records, the offense was breaking hearts, and every player in that building knew it. That's when the whisper started. Fast, loud, relentless. Players glancing at each other with the kind of frustration you can't hide.
Question Daryl Ryder yesterday said, Kevin, what progress have you seen from Dillon Gabriel? What areas have you seen drastic improvement? Okay, this is an opportunity for your head coach to go ahead and highlight some things about your rookie quarterback that you insist upon shoving down our freaking throats, and tell us what you see from Dillon Gabriel that you take away as a positive. Because we don't see it, obviously. That's why Daryl's asking this question. We don't see it. We don't see the improvement. We don't see the positives for Dillon Gabriel. So what are they? And here's how Kevin answered, or rather did not answer that question.
Coaches reviewing film that looked suspiciously identical to last week's failures. And fans? Fans weren't whispering anymore. They were going nuclear on social media, on talk shows everywhere. Everyone wanted to know why Dillon Gabriel was still being marched out there like a sacrificial offering. when Shedeur Sanders was sitting on the sideline like a fully charged battery.
Said after the game that he's sticking with you going forward. Not that he shouldn't. It's just that at 2-7 sometimes things change.
Yep.
But he's sticking with you. How do you feel about the opportunity to build on, what you did today and move forward?
Yeah, when things aren't going well, there's always going to be change. That's part of it, because keep doing the same thing and don't change anything, then it's insanity. But I feel like at times there's things that went well and we sustained and executed,
And then came the moment that told the whole truth. A reporter asked Stefanski the simplest question imaginable. What progress have you seen from Dillon Gabriel? This is where a coach proves he believes in his quarterback. This is where he names something real. Improved reads, better pocket presence, more command. Instead, Stefanski delivers a word salad so empty it should have been served with croutons. Not a single specific detail. Not one clean example of visible progress. And that silence, that nothing answer, it spoke louder than anything he could have said. Because if the coach who handpicked Dillon can't point to one area of growth after 5 starts, what does that really mean?
Dillon Gabriel, and I'm sorry, Dillon, you cannot play NFL football. This is like the AI Atlas. We've never seen it before. And after the game, for the Browns to just say, not even arbitrarily, they're saying it like it's the mantra of the team that Dillon Gabriel's playing again next week. Such a great exercise in incompetence that we should study this in some type of anthropology class at the highest level of educational institution in this country.
That's when the rumor mill ignited. Reports started circulating about a former Browns executive, someone with pull, someone with history, someone with the kind of access that doesn't disappear after you leave the building. According to the whispers, this guy had seen enough. Enough of the checkdowns, the hesitation, the panic sacks, the generic post-game speeches. Enough of watching Myles Garrett do superhero work, while the offense responded by punting like it was a charity event. So allegedly, he walked in and made his point directly, and not politely. Imagine this former CEO firing up a projector and pulling up Shedeur Sanders' Colorado tape, like he's presenting evidence in court. Clip after clip of Shedeur, dodging pressure behind an offensive line that looked like traffic cones, still delivering lasers, still holding the moment together like it belonged to him. Then he reportedly pulled up Dillon's tape, and the contrast was comedic.
Did anybody hear in that word salad of bull one thing that he can point out that Dillon Gabriel has improved upon or is doing well? Nope, I didn't hear it either. It's not there. He had nothing. He didn't have an answer. It speaks volumes that you can't point out one single thing that your rookie quarterback, that you handpicked, that you designated for first team reps and opportunities from day one of minicamp after he was drafted. All this time, 5 starts in the NFL. Most starts ever in college football.
One reel looked like a future star surviving chaos. The other looked like bloopers from a sitcom. And this ex-CEO wasn't focused only on football. He talked business, tickets, ratings, storylines, momentum. Shedeur Sanders is a brand. Dillon Gabriel is a placeholder. The locker room felt that difference too. You don't have to say it out loud. Players know when a quarterback elevates a team, and when a quarterback drags it backward. Dillon stepped to the mic after getting sacked 6 times and delivered the same safe quote every struggling QB delivers. All I can do is control what I can control. It wasn't wrong, but it was empty. It didn't energize anyone. It didn't sound like leadership. It sounded like a man waiting for something he already knew was coming. Now picture Shedeur in that same situation. He'd have stared into the cameras and declared war on whatever was holding the team back.
Lifetime. I have never seen an incompetent coach, an incompetent quarterback united at the hip with no end in sight. And I want to be clear, I'm saying this without mentioning the name Shedeur Sanders, because it ain't got nothing to do with him. He doesn't even have to be on this roster for this to be one of the dumbest decisions in the history of the...
That's the difference. One QB accepts pressure, the other hunts it. Meanwhile, Myles Garrett is out there, tearing through offensive lines like he's late for something, only to look up and realize the offense is treating his performance like a suggestion. You cannot ask a defensive superstar to play at that level while the offense is rolling out participation trophies. Veterans feel that tension. Young players feel it. And the fans? They feel it the most. They've watched this story play out too many times. They know when a season is slipping through their fingers. And they know when the answer is sitting right there on the sideline, wearing sunglasses and minding his business, waiting for someone upstairs to snap out of denial. Upstairs, the political tension is even louder than the fan frustration. Jimmy Haslam reportedly still backs Stefanski's plan. Stefanski still insists Dillon Gabriel is part of the process. But General Manager Andrew Berry? The rumors say he sees the writing on the wall. He sees Shedeur Sanders as the actual future.
Start there. He should have never been a 100 draft pick. There is nothing about his physical makeup, his college tape, anything that warrants being a top 100 draft pick. They did it. They made the decision.
Every time I go on the internet, all I see is a bunch of dudes sitting around going, why are you not playing Shedeur and why are you about it? Like they're playing the soundbite. He won't even say his name. He won't even say his name.
And here's the part nobody wants to admit. Coaches who feel safe make conservative choices. Coaches who feel pressure take big swings. A desperate coach would have already turned to Shedeur. A comfortable coach clings to his original decision because admitting he was wrong risks everything. And every loss with Dillon under center isn't just a loss for the standings. It's a loss for Stefanski's credibility. Every week, the Browns roll out the same mistake, the same issues, the same lack of spark. The more the locker room wonders who's really steering this thing. The defense is doing its job. The fans are doing theirs. But the offense? The offense looks like a group project where half the team didn't show up. That's why the Jets' loss hit so hard. It wasn't just another game. It was a humiliation so loud, ownership reportedly started making calls that night. That defeat wasn't a dip. It was a revelation.
27-20 loss to the New York Jets, who had only one victory coming into this game, that being against the Cincinnati Bengals before their bye week. It's really quite shocking that they came in here and lost to this football team that basically conducted a fire sale during their bye week, trading away their two best defensive players. The opportunity was there to come in here for the Cleveland Browns to seize the moment and win this football game, but they gave up two kick returns.
Something is broken, something is stuck, and something has to give. And in the middle of it all is Shedeur, calm, confident, electric. A quarterback whose name alone creates momentum. A player who steps into a huddle and raises the temperature instantly. And the contrast between him and Dillon grows more obvious every single day. Dillon's presence is quiet, soft-spoken, almost apologetic. Shedeur's presence is fire, direct, unshakable. Built for chaos, built for pressure, built for the moment that decides everything. Even his calm looks dangerous. That's why the locker room feels different when his name comes up. Not because anyone hates Dillon, but because they know who gives them a real chance. They've seen what belief looks like. They've seen what fearlessness looks like. They've seen what a quarterback with true command looks like. And then came the line that summed up Dillon's entire situation. You don't want to rip up the seed before it grows. That's not confidence. That's not leadership. That's not a statement from someone who feels in control.
He would have been played Shedeur. Brian Daboll was like, you know what? I might lose my job. Here, Jackson Dart. Like, if you think you're gonna lose your job, you do move off of the Cats. So Shedeur Sanders is Kevin Stefanski's ace in the hole. The reason Stefanski's not playing Shedeur in my mind is because his job is safe. James, I look at it like this. Jimmy Haslam, Kevin Stefanski, they're on one accord. Andrew Berry, general manager, he views it differently. I think Andrew Berry, the general manager, he wants Shedeur.
That's a plea, a soft way of saying, please don't move on from me yet. Meanwhile, the city is already thinking about the future. The fans are done with patience. They want change. They want a spark. They want the quarterback who actually looks like he belongs in the moment. They want Shedeur. And the longer the Browns wait, the more brutal this gets. Because imagine this nightmare scenario. Dillon jogs out after the bye week and delivers another game of hesitation, confusion, sacks, missed opportunities, and panic. This time, the stadium won't hold back. It won't be scattered boos. It won't be light frustration. It'll be a full-throated eruption of disappointment that shakes every seat. Once a fan base reaches that point, there's no turning back. And somewhere behind all of it, Shedeur stands quietly, helmet tucked at his side, knowing exactly what's coming. He doesn't need to force anything. He doesn't need to campaign. All he has to do is be himself. Because every second Dillon struggles, the narrative moves closer to him. Every failure makes the next move more inevitable, and every ounce of pressure pushes Cleveland toward the quarterback who actually matches the moment. That's why this entire saga comes down to identity.